Uh, just recorded this video and I guess I was out of storage, so I had to upgrade. Wonderful. Namaskaram and hello. I'm Arjun. You can call me Justin. Was going to talk about poor communicators as red flag number shichi, nana, or number 7. But my brain not work so good today, so I am going to table that one till I can communicate it and articulate it better. And I'm going to talk about energy vampires and users instead. So, yeah, when we think of like an energy vampire, we're thinking of someone that maybe looks kind of ghoulish or like kind of decrepit looking, and just like, I need more. I need your life essence. Give it to me. Give it to me. But while maybe there are people that look like they're, you know, quite obviously going to suck you dry, like with your energy, your time, your attention, very dependent people. A lot of times, energy vampires and users, people who will use you for a certain gain, are not obvious. It's something that is quite insidious. Like they work their way, their claws and their clutches. They just need to. It's a clutch like a purse. Anyways, they work their way into your life, and then they start just using you and draining you of some kind of currency that you offer them. Whether, again, it's adoration, it's time, energy, love, money. Um, you know, they're introducing you to people that will benefit them somehow later. So a lot of times we don't even recognize that it's happening right away. And when I thought I was recording beforehand, I was saying that we do have these moments in our life where things are falling apart and we're just so exhausted. We want to throw in the towel, or we're just giving up on trying any harder. And it's natural for us to lean on, the people closest to us, family, friends, whatnot. And I think that, under most healthy circumstances, that's normal. That obligation to be there for your loved one, especially when they're going through a hard time, I think that's perfectly acceptable. But as I've indicated, at some point you have to recognize if it's just going on too long or if it's too intense and your cup is starting to become empty. Right? You're starting to feel the weight of it on you, and it's impacting you, your health, your total health negatively. So again, I think it's, to lean on a friend or a family member during hard times, understandable, but there will come a point where you have to pull back, and hopefully two things will happen. You'll recognize that you need to stop being dependent, and you need to start taking action in your life, and maybe going to get professional help or resources, right? And the second thing is hopefully the other person will recognize it too and communicate it in a healthy way. Like, hey, I know things have been so effed up for you and tough, but I think maybe we need to start looking at how to get you out of this rut, how to fix this situation. Seeing a doctor, seeing a therapist, financial resources, outreach centers, stuff like that. So I hopefully both parties can recognize that and communicate it well and find, some resolution. That's the healthiest outcome when things become prolonged. And unfortunately, that does happen to a lot of people. Life can just throw you, a bucket full of rotten lemons, and you don't want to make rotten lemonade. So you have to really be resourceful and be willing to think outside the box and recognize that you might need help that extends past or outside of your immediate support circle. But that doesn't always happen, and it's on one hand understandable, but if you're both just feeling the weight, this is going, we're both drained and spiraling down, one of you has to at least like recognize that and pull out of the situation. And you got to take care of yourself, but hopefully it doesn't come to a point where you're abandoning the person that you love that's in a really bad way, and you're calling around or trying to find a place that can help them, right? So anyways, but while I think that happens to all of us at some point in our life, and usually it's like more than just one time, because life has a way of throwing curveballs at you. You have to watch out for people that are using you for some kind of currency. And a lot of times all these red flags tie into each other, and I will explain that at the end. I think most of you get that though. So if they're doing one red flag, chances are they're doing another red flag too, at least one other. But, I've indicated that sometimes people will hold on to a connection with you because they're getting something out of it. Attention, validation, adoration. They feel like they can talk to you about, very secretive or intimate things, and they can't trust anybody else though. But if they're doing these other red flags, like they're hiding you or not defending you, if they're poor communicators or, if they're just like ghosting you, like, or stonewalling you, and it's just hot and cold, breadcrumbing you, most likely, right, you're not a priority in their life, but they're getting something out of you that they're not able to find somewhere else. They're waiting for Prince Charming, or what's the female version? I don't know, just some princess. We'll go with Elsa from Frozen, because her song really speaks to me. Let it go, let it go. Anyways, they're looking for this, what the ultimate counterpart for them is, right? And so they're holding out for that person, whether they know the person already or they know the type of person. And in the meantime, they'll settle for you because they're getting something out of it. Maybe it's just smecks, right? Maybe it's really great. And the physical attention and affection is a release for them, a stress relief for them. And so, yeah, for right now, you'll do. And it's interesting when people defend, like, oh yeah, I've done that, or I've been there, we all do it. Like, no, that's not okay. Like, you're mistreating this person. And both parties are at fault. The person who's being used, if you're recognizing you're being used because of all these other red flags that are going on, you're being disrespected, your boundaries are being disrespected, you have to pull out of that situation, because chances are they're not going to do it. If they're getting something out of it, why would they do that? Right? And the person who's doing the using, who's maybe an energy vampire or a vampire of some sorts, hopefully will like, what am I doing? This isn't right. I'm not respecting myself or this person. This isn't healthy. And then that they pull out. But don't confuse the people that are initially doing the using, who get fed up with the situation and end it or pull out, that they're some saint or that they're better than you. Because chances are they found someone or something else that will give them what they want, and it seems less stressful, less embarrassing or shameful. chances are that's what's going on. Because if they can't recognize all their red flags and all their inappropriate behaviors or perspectives, etc., then why are they going to stop? Chances are they're not going to, because that's their operating system. That's what they're going off of. And that would be another red flag. If they dump you, they toss you aside, and they go, live life up, like, I'm free of you now, I can go live life. Chances are they either have a boosted sense of ego, and are narcissistic. Not saying narcissistic personality disorder diagnosable people, but they're being narcissistic. Then chances are they're not going to stop. Most people nowadays don't do that. They go off of, well, I'm going to do me, and I'm looking out for number one and for my satisfaction, and yada yada yada. Like, and they'll, if they have to fake it till they make it, or use other people for validation of some sorts, they're probably going to do that. And it's unfortunate. And that's partly why I make these videos, because I'm hoping that it will start to stimulate some introspection for some people, and they'll reflect, they'll process, digest, and they'll start putting in the work in, or going to get help. We're all flawed human beings, okay? We're a combination of everything from the dark side to the light side and everything in between, okay? And I find it very, very hard to believe that maybe there are like a handful, but like over 99% of people have been crummy at some point. Crummy to themselves, crummy to others. Usually they go hand in hand. Have failed or been failed themselves, failed others, have let their weaknesses and vices take over, have been in delusional denial, have had some BS persona take the wheel for them because they're too afraid to confront the truth. They're too afraid of getting hurt or hurting others, whatever the reason is. And sometimes life is just so overwhelming that it's like a defense mechanism. Up, right? And I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. So I'm just going to go do this, and all these distractions, and have a bunch of smoke and mirrors and fake it till you make it, attitude, because I just can't deal. Right? And it's sometimes they don't even know that that's what's happening. Right? They can't even recognize their own BS. It's like, in the field of psychiatry and psychology, like, there are disorders that are, and I'm not saying this the same thing, I'm just making an analogy, that there are disorders like schizophrenic disorders and mania, where people they literally see something that everybody else sees as like blue, but they're like, no, it's red. Okay. Or, everybody else is smelling shit, but like, they're like, no, it smells like unicorn farts, which are amazing. And there are a lot of people that just can't face the hard truths or painful things inside themselves. And they will pretend like, I'm just going to ignore that, and life is good. I'm good. And you know what? I deserve to have fun, and I deserve to be like validated and adored. And they become a bit narcissistic, because it's a way of protecting yourself. So energy vampires, one other thing I wanted to talk about is locations. Like, some people are going to disagree with me, and I'm not trying to label all these places and all the people that go to these places as bad. But it's unfortunate that many people think it is very healthy to like bars and clubs are very healthy places. They're usually not. Again, that doesn't mean that not everybody that goes there and all these places are bad. There are like a few bars that I've been to, or that I like going to, where it's just very laid back. It's very chill. There's not a lot of drama usually in any, given night. And people aren't going there to get drunk and intoxicated. They're going there just to tie one off, relax, have good conversations, merrymaking, all that stuff. And I know many Hindus will disagree with me on that, and that's fine. That's okay. And again, I'm never professed to be like this amazing Hindu. No, I make a million mistakes probably every day. And there's so little I know about it because it's so rich and deep. Um, so yeah, you probably got me pegged there. Okay. But excuse me, what you'll find in a lot of times, again, not everybody, because I've met some really fascinating people and really good people at like bars that are, you just get in good conversations, you get to know each other outside of the bar, and like you become really good friends. That does happen. But anybody that is really good at observing people, watching people, and analyzing people, you will know what I'm saying is in those places a lot of times, especially the people that like every Friday, Saturday, whatever, I'm going to this bar or whatever. And especially if it's a lively bar, like it's, loud music, like there's dancing, lots of drinking, a lot of people dressed sultry, like they're just like provocative, they're showing off their figure, they're doing their hair, their makeup, all that stuff. Men, women, like they're really putting, they're trying to highlight like, hey, you should notice me. That's a giveaway right there. You should notice me. It's one thing to like want to look good. We all should do that every day. Look good, feel good, right? But when you're going to the bars and clubs and you're wearing certain clothing and doing your look in a certain way, it's generally not to be like, I just want to feel good for me and feel empowered. Men or women, doesn't matter. Like you're saying, I want you to notice me because maybe I want to end up going home with you or somebody. Or at the very least, I just want to know that people are looking at me and checking me out. Don't lie. That's what most of you are doing. I mean, I think we've all been there. It's understandable. But when you're doing that, like, it's like every time I'm free, like on the weekends or I don't have my kids and I'm going out with the guys or girls to have a good time, but you're there to meet people, of the gender or sex that you're interested in. Now, how this ties into energy vampires, though, is that what a lot of people don't get about these places is that you don't, I mean, you do see some of them, but you don't see the, skulking, like decrepit looking, like people that are like, I need life force, right? You see people that are dressed to the nines and they are, trying to like live positive and fun and just like have a good casual time. It's like you're putting the energy out there, the positive energy out there as a lure, like fishing, right? You're putting that shiny object out there because you're hoping to get something in return, a bigger payout. The lure is just, you can't eat that, right? You can't live off of that. But it can get you the big fish that will feed that belly of yours. So it's the same thing with these energy vampires. People, and that's why I will say many people will not agree with me on this because you're probably the type that like to go do that a lot. And I think once in a while going with friends and whatnot and celebrating, letting loose, like I don't see anything wrong with that. I really don't. But when it becomes like a frequent thing, like this is how you get validated that you're cool or sexy or popular, or how to have fun, or it's a way to de-stress because you end up going home with somebody that you're probably mutually attracted, so you can have that sexual release. That's problematic, and you don't realize that you're an energy vampire. You both are energy vampires. Yes, all relationships, there should be a give and take, a sharing. But a healthy one looks like you're not putting a lure out there like all the time to try to get a bigger payout. or something received that's bigger in the end, right? That's using the person, that's manipulating. And yes, we all, even parents and kids, use each other. You can always argue that, but there are certain relationships that the dynamics like parent and kid where there is like a normal exchange that is expected, right? Parents are supposed to bring their kids up, hopefully the right way, a healthy way, and protect them from harm. But kids are also supposed to, like listen to their parents and help their parents when their parents need help with something. Yes, it can become abusive. I know some of you will argue that. I'm saying in healthy dynamics, that's normal. And in marriages too, like you're a union, a partnership where you've agreed to be with each other to support each other through the ups and downs and through raising a family probably, or running a business together, right? So yes, that does exist, but the type of energy that the people are putting out there, that lure, in the clubs and the bars, because they want the attention, they want to be seen, they want to be like sought after and chased after and desired. Like that should tell you like one thing right there. If they're doing that like every week, every other week or whatever, when they don't have their kids or, they're not working that weekend or whatever, then that tells you that they can't validate themselves, that they need the external validation. Yes, I am sexy. Yes, I am cool. Yes, I am popular. Yes, I'm desired and sought after, and that they can't get it themselves, right? And then two, like, if they're going for sexual release, like, okay, but again, like that is a slippery slope, and I will talk about that some other time because that can be a very tangential sidebar. Okay, I get it. Gigi loves little piggy 589210001, right? Random username. Just calm down. So yes, like I get it. Like some people argue, no, that's totally acceptable. That's totally fine. I'm not here now to talk about that, but I will get to that at some point. And it's not. I'm not saying right now it's totally acceptable or it's totally unacceptable. I'm not saying that. So just calm down. But when that happens, like, so people don't realize that in these types of places where the energy is really high and it's lots of energy, is that people are throwing out all their lures and then getting the bites and reeling them in. So it is an exchange, but it is a very, how do I explain this? It's not a, like it's a quick fix. First of all, it's a dopamine rush, right? You're just getting all these neurotransmitters, like, going, and the engines are firing up. But the energy doesn't last long, right? That's why people keep drinking, they keep dancing, they keep socializing, they keep bar hopping, right? Because they need to keep it going. But most people understand this. It's exhausting, but yet people keep going to do it, right? And so everybody's throwing out energy there, but they're hoping to get something back because they can't do it themselves. A lot of times, I'm not saying everybody in every situation. Again, I know there are not a lot, but I would say like I have a handful of places that I've been to over the years that are really, I think they're good people that work there. Most of the patrons, the customers are really chill. They're really cool. Not there to cause trouble, not there to suck energy from anybody. And I think that those places do exist, but more and more we're just seeing a lot of people going out because of fear of missing out, and they want to feel alive and a rush. They want to get attention. So a lot of people don't understand that a lot of people that are doing that like every week, like that is a form of energy vampirism. Okay. And you're, and while it's usually, not always, but it's consensual, where people agree to go home together or, see each other again, is that you're making this, contract, this agreement, like we're going to get this from each other. You're maybe not saying that directly, but that's the agreement. Like, we're going to get something out of this good time. Right. But you still are, so you're exchanging that energy that, like, you need it to be able to cope with the rest of your life, or to feel like you are desired, or to feel that you're appreciated, whatever it is. So that is a form of being an energy vampire. But then users, I mean, so I've indicated this before already, but a lot of these red flags, when you see one, you see others. So if people are hiding you, or they're always criticizing you, breadcrumbing you, poor communication, they're prioritizing other people, and I'm not talking about like kids where you have dependents or sick, elderly parents, what have you not, a job that you're very, very dedicated to, and was already like that before you guys became a couple. That those are different priorities in life that must be respected. But if they're not prioritizing you and other people, especially other people they've been with, either in a full-blown relationship or had sexual relations with, and they're prioritizing that, but yet they're keeping you at arm's length, or they're hot and cold, chances are they're using you, friend. They're using you for some gain. Maybe it's the physical affection you get them, or that give them, or the attention or adoration or money or whatever it is, but they are getting something out of you. Healthy relationships, platonic, familial, romantic, whatever it is, there should be a good, steady exchange of that loyalty, the love, the energy, the respect, the care, the gratitude, all that time and attention. Right? And it shouldn't be such highs and lows like it is with going out to bars and clubs. Right? You're not throwing out the lures like you're not purposely making something flashy to get something in return. You're being your authentic self. That's what you see in healthy relationships and interpersonal connections. So, and if there isn't that respect of you, your boundaries, again, they're hiding you or whatever, like breadcrumbing you, often ghosting you. Friend, that person doesn't really love you, respect you, care about you. They're getting something out of you, most likely. Okay, and you have to pay attention, like I always say. Reality of who they are, how they're behaving, how they're acting, versus their potential. Do not conflate them. They're not the same. The potential may be deep, deep down inside them, but they're actually not showing you that. They're showing you a much uglier, nastier side, a disrespectful side. Doesn't matter if they're great with everybody else. If you feel drained, if you feel bad about yourself, like frequently, often, or all the time especially, then that they're an energy vampire and or using you in some other way. And you really ought to reconsider your options and exit stage left, or show them to the door and help them with their bags. Okay, you have to respect yourself and your boundaries. Boundaries are there for a reason, because it's like a buffer zone. And the more that someone pushes on that, tries to tear through it or poke a hole, that's a red flag, right? And that should be alerting you, oh, I gotta pull back there, I gotta reinforce this wall here, I gotta really reassess, is this person safe for me? Okay? So we all use each other, I've indicated this before, usually in some way, shape, or form, but if both people are acting out of a place of loyalty, love, respect, all that, and in their higher selves, then that's normal. All right, I think that's human, but when it starts becoming like abusive, right? When you start to feel drained and you're just not being respected, they're using you. They're using you most likely. Okay? So love yourself, respect yourself. I wish you all the best on your journeys. I truly do. And stepping into your higher self, right? So we'll talk about communication in the future. But until then, I wish you all a great day. Take care.